Warriors 19 beat Titans 6, Barney.
Oli, 3 tries to 1, 3 conversions out of 3 for the Warriors and 1 out of 1 for the Titans. What have we got here? A field goal as well for the Warriors. I think there might have been
that. I think I was drunk by then.
Nicarima, I'm pretty sure, kicked that one. And a penalty goal for the Warriors. Completions were 91% for the Warriors, best of the weekend. This is the foundation of this game, to be honest. 80% for the Titans. 40 out of 44 sets played, 35 out of 44. 3 line breaks to 4, 25 tackle busts to 24, 15 offloads apiece, 2 forced dropouts for the Warriors and 5 for the Titans. No 40-20s. Ruck infringements were 6-4 to the Warriors. Penalties conceded 5-6 to the Titans. Errors were 6 from the Warriors and 15 from the Gold Coast. 351 tackles played, 367. Tohu Harris with 43 tackles. Rain with 39. Fanua Blake with 202 metres. Corey Thompson with 204 metres. Bailey Sirenen with 74 Supercoach points. Nicarima with 74. Armau with 69. And Corey Thompson with 68.
Oli?
Yeah, so first of all, full credit to the Warriors. They were the better side and they looked really good in this game. For me, the Titans just did not look like they wanted to win. It was almost as if they were afraid to play the style of footy they did last year, because now they've got expectations. They don't want to be making mistakes. There were so many one-out runs. Traditionally a team, to sort of the first to third tackle, you go for your hit-ups, you want out-runs, but the Titans were doing that for full sets. What really concerned me is that when the Titans were still a chance to win the game, 12 points down with 10 minutes to go on the 4th tackle, they'd still go for that hit-up for Jared Wallace or something like that.
The old Aiden Tolman hit-up.
They weren't getting creative with the ball. The one time they did actually get the ball out to an edge, Corey Thompson scores a try. You know what I mean?
Oh, they tried a few times, but Taylor dropped it.
It's a funny thing. You're right. You're very right in that, and maybe something we might have underrated in our big preview. To use another sport analogy, Matthew Hayden and Justin Langer used to talk about how they batted with they got to the stage they could bat with no fear. They knew they were the openers, and they went to another level after that. Titans back in last year weren't making the 8. There was nothing to lose. They could play with no fear. Now they come in, everyone's tipping them to run 4th. And now you're right, maybe it's...
This could also be a coaching tactic, just thinking outside the box. Like,
let's lose a few.
No, we know we can play that style of game. First 4 rounds, we're going to try and play this fucking style of game. We're going to try and, for when we need to grind, we're just going to push this for the first month.
That probably would have worked against... That actually would have worked probably against 5 teams. It just happened they met a team that did it better.
Yeah.
So maybe. I
was just going to bring up the big 2 as well, who people are talking about. I still thought Tino was fine. He was good.
He was more than fine.
Yeah, he was pretty good. Not as good as obviously on a couple of.
But he was more than solid. Yeah.
And David Fifita as well. I didn't even necessarily think he was bad. He's obviously not his usual self.
And the male Aussie had to go to hospital.
He wasn't destroying people. No.
Yeah, and I have seen online, even since that came out, people saying, "Oh well, it doesn't matter if he was in hospital with a virus 2 days before because he's still he's earning 1.2 million a year. That's not an excuse. So that if you got a virus, doesn't matter how much money you're getting paid. Especially if he had a coronavirus, I'd be very worried, but he didn't. So I'm looking forward to see how he goes next week. But the 2 big signings for the Titans, I thought were fine. It was passable at the very least. So
Big Mo was tremendous.
Wasn't he?
Odoaker was outstanding. I'm glad
Well, the forward pack looked good because they're getting all the runs.
He's been their best for the last year and a half.
Yeah, all the idiots on the Telegraph talking about PODs. 1% of people owned him. He racked up 70, 79 or so on the weekend. He was tremendous. I'll be honest, the Titans, the Fifita and Tino are fine. I did love, though, what a shot of Bunty just bowling both over in one shot. Big Bunty a year off. I forgot about him, but my God, what a man. Putting 2 million of salary cap on
he comes in for half an hour, but he busts shit up for half an hour.
I have grave concerns if they're going to be a top 4 team. They need a spine. Second year Fogarty, he's got control. He's got points to prove now. Mitch Rain's Mitch Rain.
Yep.
And Ash Taylor's Ash Taylor. So ultimately does 1.5 mil worth of 2-star forwards turn around a team.
And as I said, I think that
Jury's
might have
out.
been why the coach has gone, look, we're going to see how we go.
Yeah.
Putting the
it
emphasis through the
and,
middle.
And it makes more sense when you think,
spread
hey,
it.
the big signings are them. We're going to
work on them for the month, and then we can try and put it all together after that. But, where was I? Sorry. I thought there was going to be more attack, as we all did, from the Titans and the Warriors, because the Warriors have got it in them as well. They've got a few handy outside backs that can score points, but they both decided they were going to play this one through the middle. And
well, I think
what you saw from the Warriors on Saturday is what you're getting all year.
It's going to be their game plan.
And
for most
hey,
of
if
the
you're
time.
better than us, you'll beat us. If not, they're going to be Cronulla Sharks from 5 years ago. Hey, we're going to put on 18 points and crash up on you. If you can run rings around us, good luck to you. But Titans couldn't. We'll see if others can. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say that last week we pretty much unanimously agreed that this was, in terms of the on-field product we were going to get, it was going to be the game of the week. So I think for us three especially, it was a shock, the sort of, I guess you could say, boring attack that we got. One more thing. I can't underplay how good Roger Tuivasa-Sheck was, especially with his goal line defence. That tackle on Ash Taylor was freakish, and if Ash Taylor scores that early, maybe the Titans do get the momentum. Maybe they do start throwing the ball around and they do win the game. So, RTS was great, but news to everyone.
Didn't translate to Supercoach, unfortunately, for my Supercoach team.
I know.
The Warriors were just tremendous with their ball control, man. 91%. You don't see that very often in most teams. If you complete somewhere near 90%, you're going to win 9 out of 10 games.
Yeah.
And they did goal line defence, and they're just defence in general. They missed a few tackles, but it wasn't in important times. Their goal line defence, the Warriors, the Titans, again, same with the trial. They probably should have put some tries on at the back end of that game, and they just kept turning them away. They seem to have that the 20 metres off their own line. That defence seems pretty solid. So I think you're going to see teams score longer range tries on them more than goal line tries.
I think they'll back themselves to make 60 tackles in their 20 and just say, like I said, build a wall and say, come on.
Yep.
Crash upon us.
The Titans' backline was very clunky at times. Pretty much the entire game. There was a lot of mistakes once it got more than 2 or 3 passes wide from the ruck, and that pretty much cost them the game. The Warriors, the halves were solid without being spectacular. As you mentioned, Fa'asuamaleaui was a god. Fifita and Tino were pretty good, but both benches didn't have a lot of impact, I didn't think. But it's a bit of a stalemate of a game, but the Warriors...
We're missing... No one's mentioned Fa'asuamaleaui Blake yet. And in fact, I didn't notice him. I actually didn't notice him live a lot, but my God, what do you do, 220 metres?
Works, man. He doesn't miss a lot of tackles. He's got an offload in him, which he didn't really produce that much on the weekend either as well, but yeah.
Bailey Sirenan was great. They've gone out and bought solid workers who are going to work, and very good play. Lee Sanamo was good off the bench.
The Warriors are going to put it to a lot of teams.
Yeah, I'm actually excited. After what they went through last year, I'm really happy.
As I mentioned in the trial, Leeson's turned back the clock a bit there, mate. He's bashing
and what about
in attack and defence?
25 minutes in the game, we're sitting here. I turn to Barney and go, Barney, who's that small apartment block running at the line?
I genuinely
it's massive.
Watching the game.
It's like, who is that bloke?
Watching the game, I thought, who's this bold bloke? Is he a new player or?
He's talking about.
He was the size of 3 houses. He was on the.
Well, I was talking about Armel, but all the forwards for the Warriors were great. That pretty much the entire Warriors team was great.
Just ripped and teared the entire game.
And I'm happy to watch him do that, because I think if they can get through 26 rounds playing that level of defence.
I love that style of game, and they've got a couple of blokes in the centres and wings that can finish as well if they get some decent balls. So they could upset a lot of teams.
Because then there'll be teams that they just bash into submission.
Yeah, and they get the space and the time, and they'll just...
And like I said, RTS didn't wait till he gets a bit of space, wait till...
chimes in on a backline play or back up the middle.
So, they were tremendous. Where's AJ at? What'd you take out for him?
He didn't have the impact that I think a lot of people were expecting, and that I think he was expecting to have. that his coach was expecting to have. I think he's going to acknowledge that this was a poor performance and hopefully pick back up. I don't think he's going to be a one-season wonder or anything. I still think he'll be one of the Titans' better players, but everyone has their off days, and I think this was one of his.
Well, as I said, a couple of passes off the ruck, there was not much going on, so his opportunities were very limited as well.
He didn't really get to do much.